Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I am sharing with you 5 brand new Assetto Corsa track and car mods that you need to check out. We have some super cool stuff on today's list, from some historic racing tracks to some current-ish road cars and historic racing cars as well. Before we get into it though, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my second channel, JC Racing. If you want to see some broader sim racing stuff besides just Assetto Corsa mods, that will be your one-stop shop for it. You can find it down in the top link in the description below. Let's get right into the first mod on today's list, and that is the Detroit Street Circuit. This circuit was most notably used by F1 back in the day. It is a 4-kilometer long track weaving through the city streets, and it's actually a quite inventive layout for how much of a grid system the United States is based on. There's actually quite a bit of flowing turns through here. There's a lot of 90-degree corners, but definitely some very unique portions of the track. One that I really like is almost kind of like a Monaco-esque feeling section coming out of the lowest hairpin, where you're going downhill and you make a right turn going under a little bridge. This circuit actually has something very similar, which is pretty cool to see. This is a conversion, as always, done by Shin. He has done a fantastic job. This track isn't definitely the best looking Assetto Corsa, street circuit we have, but it is definitely up there because there are some rough ones, let me tell you. But very nice looking, and if this period of F1 and US racing interests you, then this is definitely going to be a track to try. You can find it in the link in the description below. Next up on the list, we have the BMW M4 Coupe. This is the F82 model, came out in 2015, and this is a conversion over to Assetto Corsa by MNBA. I'm sure you all know who they are by now. They do some fantastic work here in AC, and to bring this very, very nice looking BMW over is very cool to see. 425 brake horsepower, 549 Newton meters of torque. It weighs 1,497 kilograms. I think this is one of the best looking M4s. It's gonna sound funny, but I don't know why, but this car, for me, the biggest thing I remember it from was Forza Horizon 3, back when I was a younger kid. That's going to make some of you feel very old, that a 2015 car kind of reminds me a little bit of my pre-teen years, but I don't know why. This car just sticks in my mind for messing around with it in Forza Horizon 3, but very cool to have it here in Assetto Corsa. If you're interested, you can find it on MNBA's Patreon in the description below. Next up on the list, we have Pinevale. This is a fictional British track converted over from R Factor by, of course, Shin. 4.2 kilometers long. It's got 30 pits, so pretty much any kind of racing you'd want to be able to do around here, you are able to do. It is kind of a retro feeling track. You do have a lot of older sponsor logos and things like that dotted around. It's definitely like an early 2000s-ish kind of vibe coming from this one. It's a pretty simple track overall, but a very interesting layout nonetheless, and there is an even more kind of flowy short version of the layout. Almost kind of looks like Silverstone from the 50s, actually, believe it or not. But a very, very interesting track nonetheless, and a very nice looking one for being a fictional circuit as well. So definitely one to check out. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. Next up on the list, we have the 1969 Isuzu Bellett R6. This is brought to us by Pasta 2000 over on Race Department, and this was Isuzu, the Japanese car manufacturer's foray into sports car racing. 156 brake horsepower. It weighs 643 kilograms. This car is powered by a little 1584cc 4-cylinder. It does make a quite interesting sound, and the shape of it is definitely very late 60s, reminiscent of the sports cars of the time. There is a lot of history that Pasta 2000 has put over on his Race Department page, so if you like to get the stories behind these classic cars, which is something I always like to read about, then definitely read up on the listing for this car, because it is very, very interesting. This is a super cool 60s sports car, almost kind of prototype-esque car to add to the collection. Very, very unique and quite fun to throw around the track. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. The final mod on today's list is the Nurburgring. This is the 1984 to 1985 layout of the track. Of course, hosting the F1 European GP back in the day. 4.5 kilometers. It has 36 pits, so whether you do want to do that mid-80s F1 or you want to do some sports car racing around here, you will be able to do it. This is, of course, a conversion over to Assetto Corsa by Shin. It is very nice looking. At the heart of it, it is still the Nurburgring, but I'd say the main changes are the Turn 1. It is very different. This Turn 1 kind of persisted even up until the 90s and the early 2000s, but definitely unique if you haven't driven this era of the Nurburgring GP circuit, and overall a very nice addition if you are into historic F1 and racing as a whole, because the Nürburgring hosts so much different kinds of racing. But you can find this one down on Shin's Patreon page in the description below. Definitely one to check out. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, a like and a sub would mean a lot. Once again, be sure to check out my second channel, JC Racing. It is the top link in the description below. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one, guys.